to try to break the habit. I changed my mind, now I can have it. Make me feel alive. I've got nothing to chasing after. I had myself to blame. I knew and then disaster. My arms went up in flame. I ran until the morning, bit my heart from my chest. I put my soul into
Welcome everyone to the Microsector episode. We've lost count. That's how good we're going.
Nine?
Nine. Look at that. We'll have to have a 10th birthday celebration. So for those of you lucky enough to tune in at the start of the countdown, you saw the brand new countdown stream and song. The link for the song is in the description as well. Go give the artist a like if you could as well. I think it suits the theme of the Microsector. And you also saw the brand new Season 2 intro, which is very cool as well. So for those guys that do tune in early, you were very lucky. So I am Sean Ghostmother, and a big good evening to all our viewers, and also a big good evening to my co-host with the most. It's the one and only Claude.
G'day, Sean. How are you? Good evening, listeners. How are we all?
We are well. How are you? Are you well?
Yeah. So, what week are we in of lockdown now? Week 7. I've got 2 to go before hopefully everything goes back to normal. Still alive, still kicking. Things are good. Plenty of alcohol being drunk though, which is a bit of a worry.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you there. And first of our special guests is all the way from Dramana. It is Janwyl, aka Jacob. Good evening.
G'day fellas, how are we?
Evening, Janwyl. How are you, mate?
I'm very good, thank you.
Very
Love
good
to
to
be
hear.
here.
And our second special guest is all the way from Packingham. It is the one and only Black Project RX-7, aka that bloody rotary, or his real name's Andrew. Hello.
Yeah, good evening,
Andrew,
everyone.
How are you, mate?
Yeah, doing well.
And we've actually had a gate crasher, some blow-in from Tasmania, decided to join us as well. You know the voice, you know the name. It's the one and only White Hips.
And we're all out of room in here. It's all
Yep.
crammed for space.
Good evening, gents. How are we, Sean, Claude, Jacob, Andrew?
How are you,
Oh,
mate?
worst bloke on the track. No, I
How
love
are
you,
you,
mate.
Frisky? How's things,
Good to hear
mate?
from you.
I had to learn earlier on where Dramana was, so I had to jump onto Google Maps and soon learned that someone needs to mow his lawns. So.
Got a bit of housekeeping to do.
Lan will get on it.
Just hand it off to the brother. I like it. So big show tonight. So we've got we'll go through which was a huge last round at the Nurburgring GP, and also a bit of a preview of what's coming up as well, especially with the championship on the line in both categories. We will do our big dive into the debate why there aren't any big sports personalities around these days. Our top 5 leading on from that is our top 5 sports personalities. I've seen a couple, and let's just say a couple of guys have gone very different ways, so which is really cool. So looking forward to diving into that. Claude, I believe, does have a couple of announcements he'd like to make as well.
Yep.
And as usual, we'll probably just talk a bit of crap for 10 minutes like we normally do, because we
Hour
are
and a half.
we are completely unscripted here, as always, on the Microsector. So, but first, probably a couple of just quick questions for our special guests, and sort of might start off with Mr. Black Project there. How do you find your season, and do you have a drive for next season?
Yeah,
Wow,
look,
straight to it.
Season's been all right. I've been happy with my results. You know, last round I got a little knock there in the opening laps, but recovered well. So I was really happy with my Brands Hatch 5th place. So yeah, I can't complain. As for next season, I have been talking to teams. I do have a drive for next season.
Ooh.
And so, who are you driving for this season?
Currently with Switchblade.
And are you driving for Switchblade next season?
I'll leave that for the release.
Straight to the point.
So, yeah, no, just checking, see if
Yeah.
So, and just while we're at it, mate, I'm just trying to catch up myself. Title sponsor at Switchblade. Who are they? Who's on the car?
Yeah, the Deeds Brewing.
Righto. And what can you tell us? A good drop? Have you had a go?
No, I actually haven't.
Oh shit!
I bought a few.
This conversation's
I
not
bought
going to
a
go
few
there.
I bought a few for myself to share with my father.
Right, you had them all on you?
And as you know, I'm a Victorian, and I can't do that.
Right.
So I'm saving them to share with my father.
Oh, that's all right then. Saving for a special time. That's good.
Excellent. So based on those answers, he won't be driving at Switchblade next season.
Yeah,
we
that's
can.
right. Safe to say he's moving on.
Yeah, we can read into that definitely. As far as the title sponsor goes, just go ask Brent. He'll give you a 55,000 page essay on each beer and what it tastes like and where the hops were grown and all that stuff. So, yeah. Moving on to Janwyl. Now, I believe this is your last season driving, is that correct?
That is correct.
What's
Yeah.
it been, mate?
So I thought I'd jump out of the driver's seat and just go full time on the team owner's role.
Well
I feel
done,
like
bloke.
I've got more to offer in that position. Just like in the last 2 years of being involved with Gran Turismo Sport and you guys, have been able to talk to a lot of people and everything like that, and I think I've been able to put together a successful team based off results of this year. It's like, got to jump out of the driver's seat and get someone else in there and see if we can make it happen again, the way that things are going right now.
Couldn't agree with more, and those bloody pink cars are always up the front.
And just I'd exploring the idea of expanding the team as well. I've been getting into iRacing as well and talking to a couple of blokes as well about jumping on board with me, doing a special event or something like that in the future. So the team owner's position has turned out to be more than S1, and I'm excited to see where it goes, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah, very cool.
Opened
That's
some
awesome.
doors and opened your eyes to other options as well.
yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
We actually have a question from Womble for Janwyl. After the visual nightmare of this season's all-pink FPC liveries, are you finally loving a good-looking team car?
Ouch.
Wow. Who made those liveries, by the way, the all-pink ones? Was that
Womble
Womble?
made the liveries for this season. I love them.
Womble's probably sick of looking at him because they're always in front of him and not behind him in the mirror. But
That too.
The iRacing liveries have just been like trying to recreate Womble's liveries to a T. I love them. But
Yep.
we'll be switching up next season, giving the drivers something to take photos of and really
Mate, it's one of
have
those
something.
really interesting ones, that pink livery, isn't it? I mean, I remember when that first got shown, I was like, what? But you just knew that it was going to catch your eye and it was going to stand out. And I think you've achieved what you set out to achieve with a livery, which is to get your cars to get noticed. And it helps when they're up the front too, mind you. But
That's what you get when you have a great team.
So don't be afraid, though. Next season, the pink hasn't completely gone away. I've got inside info on that. So
It's still there.
It's still there.
and Anwash on the cars. What's Anwash? Who's Anwash?
So that's my business. It's a laundry down in Rosebud. Service, beauty, hairdressers, allied health services, medical, everything like that on the Mornington Peninsula.
Right on.
Bit rough at the moment. The businesses are all closed that I service, but we'll be back as soon as we can. So staying positive. But yeah.
Right on. Oh, good stuff.
And also, Andrew, with the your gamer tag, I've always wanted to ask this. Do you actually drive a rotary?
Yes and no.
he would if it wasn't broke, I bet.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, I made that gamer tag when I was about, 16, when I originally purchased a SA22C RX-7. That at 16 for a project to hopefully have when I first got my license. Let's just say that that's buried in a warehouse at the moment. Still not finished.
Right on.
Sounds like all classic car
Time will
projects.
come.
Oh, well, good to know, I guess. And Prusky, we don't need to ask him questions. We all know about him.
Sure, no worries.
What's the weather like down in Tassie, Brewski?
It's shorts and t-shirt, and I'm not lying.
Is it really?
Wow.
I'm not lying. It's it's shirt, t-shirt all day, or polo shirt, I should say today. I can't wear shorts in my industry, but I could get away with it if I want. No, it was a beautiful day. I mean, some of the other, I'm sure Knuckles is in the chat there. I saw earlier, he'd back it up. I was in Hobart yesterday. It was like 19, nearly 19, 20 degrees
Is
down there. So.
this COVID thing affecting Tassie in any way at all, or is it really back to normal now for you guys?
Nah. It's I'm in the business side of things there as well.
Yep.
I haven't seen a big decline in anything
Wow.
whatsoever. If anything, an increase in business.
Yes.
Thanks to
Nobody going away. Everybody staying home.
yeah, no, local government released some holiday vouchers. So you jump online. And you can get X amount of vouchers per person in a household. I think it was $150 per person, and to holiday within our state. I mean, it's the best state in Australia. You can do anything and everything pretty much. Tell me where can you go to the snow? Can you go to a racetrack? Can you go deep sea fishing, motorbike riding, race car tracks, all in under an hour and a half?
Yes,
not a lot of people in Australia can say that. So.
No.
So that's why I'm pretty biased. But yeah, I think it's the best place to live. So.
Oh
well, normally I'd put up an argument and try and say no.
At the moment, we can't.
Don't have a hand at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment, we're kind of a bit screwed at the moment. But
If you come down to Romano, it's like nothing's changed down here.
Yeah, I've heard that, and Geelong the same.
Yeah.
No, Geelong, you might see what's going on.
Oh, please. Brewski. Give me a break. I'll get out there tomorrow.
all right, so moving on, we had a absolute drama-filled round on Sunday for Group A, Round 7 at the Nurburgring GP circuit. What is it with this track and championship-changing stuff? Like, I feel like every time we race there, something big happens.
Well, we remember the Terry incident back when, which was one of those real, championship-changing moments. And we saw one on the weekend in the B series, in the BMW series.
So there are our points currently for the Revolution Race Gear BMW M3 Challenge, with D-Flow still 6 points in front, but boy, that could have been oh so different. He dropped pretty much last on the opening lap. Karen taking the win, so keeping the title fight will go down to the last round at Spa. And then we got Maverick and Janwyl. So old mate's in 4th position. Do you reckon he can take that third?
It'd be interesting.
So,
I don't know.
Where do we go final round?
Spa.
To Spa.
Yeah.
I think I'm more consistent than old mate Cruisin'. So I think the last time we went around the Spa, Cruisin' didn't have a good time.
No, he didn't. He actually struggled. So the pressure's on.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing we do know about Cruisin'.
The understeer might be a little bit too much for our old mate Cruisin'. Sorry, the Maverick.
The Goose.
Yeah. The Goose.
And we also do
might
know
have him.
thing with Cruisin', Goose, Maverick, whatever you want to call him. We have seen it before when the pressure gets turned on and, the chocolates are there to be the one. He does have a tendency to get a little bit flustered. So that battle for third in the championship as well, I think, is going to go right down to the wire.
Topper Harley.
But then Sean, you can have the complete polar opposite of that. You won't hear from Maverick, Goose, whichever nickname he is this week, and he'll just come out and he'll qualify on top.
Yeah, that's true.
We've seen it happen.
Yep.
We will not deny that.
If he puts in the time of practice, I think he'll be a contender.
He's a solid operator.
Absolutely.
I like 8th place right there, VF Chris. Come up from Group B, up into Group A, and look at that, top 10. Just goes to show what a team I've put together.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Get in the backyard, would you? Mow them lawns.
I think for mine, though, my number one sort of driver out of this championship
Sean, mate.
is sitting there in 6th spot. Sensche, I feel, has had a fantastic season.
Yes.
This is a guy that is on the DS4. He doesn't really talk his chances up much. He doesn't say a lot, but boy, has he put in a really consistent season. And
he's running an ex-rotary system, I'd like to point out.
I'd say he's improved again this season, no doubt.
Yeah.
Shout out to my teammate NASCAR, got us a good finish on the weekend, finishing
Well done,
fourth.
Petey. Well done,
It was
Pete.
good to see him finally avoid the early lap hassles for a change and have a solid race. So he was stoked with that result.
And Mr. Hollingworth, welcome to Group A. He got a real rude awakening.
Yeah, congratulations, mate.
Yeah, he come up and thought, oh, yep. And we thought, oh, he's going to, probably win this. But he learnt very quickly at the top end of town in Group A is very different than the top end of town in Group B.
Yeah.
And, mate, Prusky, bit of a struggle on the weekend, mate?
Big struggle. I did put the practice in. I actually surprised myself in quali. I had pretty much a clean race. I was always dedicated to a two-stop. The undercut was certainly the better choice. I did the overcut and it didn't work in my favour. Mate, I think we need to have a separate debate about it at some point. I'm going to come out there and say I think these Fanatec's are a little bit overrated in some ways.
Oh, shit.
Ooh, wow.
But I will leave that for another chat. We don't want to get into that debate now, but I'll just say this. I mean, I've said it openly before. I was quicker on G29 than I can't get a grip with this Fanatec.
Is it a matter
I
of
think
before
I
we
have to agree with you.
before we get too far into it, as you said, because it could be a really good topic of discussion for another night. But I mean, surely you've put in years into the 29. You've only put in months on the Fanatec.
I would
I'm not
agree
a
with
Fanatec
that.
user, but maybe it's just a matter of that time. It's a season's worth, two seasons worth before you get the maximum out of it. But maybe you're right. Maybe you're onto something. Maybe it's
Look, I agree with that statement, and I've seen other guys go from strength to strength with it. Other people are coming through. I just can't get a grip with the pedals. Yes, I've played with adjustments. It's
cell.
brake pressure. I've got the V3s. I've got what they say are the good ones. But I just can't get a grip on it. And then by me not getting a grip on that, I'm oversteering into a corner. It's plainly evident if Sean or whoever's in control of the race director. You see that in my driving style that I'm late braking. I'm oversteering into a corner. I'm missing an apex, and I think I know how to drive these things. I just can't get a grip. I don't care. Look, I don't care. I'm having fun. I'm chatting with you guys. I've got some wicked ass liveries that some guys make, and I'm just having fun. So
yeah. Well, that's interesting. Well, will definitely be something we can have a chat about because come the end of season, a lot of these Fanatec users will have had almost a season's worth of use, which will be interesting to get their feedback. I know Dan, the man, is another Fanatec, I think, fella. He's gone up.
correct.
Seems to have thrived with the new pedals.
Yeah, Dadson's got the same setup as well. I must admit, he's a strength above me. He's always been a next level above me as a driver, and he still already is. I feel like I'm a step backwards from where I was. Say I call him the benchmark. I'm a step below where I was before.
Yeah. Interesting.
Anyway, another conversation for another day.
Definitely. What do you use there, Andrew? By the way, what's your equipment?
My wheel.
Yep.
I'm using a Thrustmaster T300.
Oh, what a guy.
The old T300.
The T300.
The bread and butter.
What do they call them? T3PA Pro pedals?
Yep, they're the ones.
Yep.
Now, you use the squash. Do you use the stress ball technique for your pedals?
Yeah, got the little stress ball in the brake there. It's taped in there, so it's a good home job.
Love it. T300 great wheel. All right, so moving on to S1 GT points, and boy, did we have another absolute barnstorming battle between our two title protagonists, DB007 and VLX GTR. Now, I'm just going to come straight out and say it. CP got a little too cute with the strategy for mine.
Big brains.
Yeah, that stock coming in for just tyres, and that was a little, I don't know. We were sitting in the commentary.
Things, I suppose, in defence of the CP boys.
I think
Wouldn't be me doing that work. I think sometimes you try things out, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And if it had worked, we'd be calling them. I had no idea they were doing it, by the way, but just thinking you'd be going, well, hell, what a great decision that was, but this one backfired, and you live with your decisions, and
Yeah, of course.
it is what it is. But yeah, they may have just outsmarted themselves a tad there.
Yeah, definitely. And what it has done, though, there is a 2-point gap. So it is literally a straight up fight between DB and VLX. And I think that's the way it should be. They've been the
And look,
class all
don't-
season.
I wouldn't be discounting Hijacker yet either.
No.
Those two boys playing for all the chockies up the front could quite easily find themselves, hopefully not, but giving Hijacker a welcome surprise.
Now,
This time, now they're playing for everything, so you just don't know how hard they're going to be willing to push.
there is also a little X factor here that I've just thought of as well. Now, I haven't got the bubble points, but I believe there may be a driver, Scotty G, I think, can get back into Group A, which may push Morgan or Mountain Goat out. Now, if it pushes Mountain Goat out, the only driver in those top 3 that has a teammate in Group A is Hijacker. Mm-hmm. That could play out, Spa being...
I'm hearing wingman statement.
Yeah, Spa being one of those tracks as well. We know the GTR is bloody fast there. So I think that's a little bit to play out. Look, Brocky's looks like he's going to seal up 4th in the championship. It still feels weird saying that, but Nux for mine, 5th position. Nux and Ricky Bobby, both of them should really hold their heads up high.
If that's Mountain Goat in Group A, I've got 2 drivers that have climbed their way from Group B to Group A, and that's just beautiful.
Oh, wow.
It is, mate, I agree.
Ooh, Scotty's just come out and said, I will be an A for Spa. Wow.
There you go.
VLX, I don't need a wingman. Whoa. So clearly, small egos don't run at FPC. That's not,
Not in
how they
Group
work.
A. Not in
No.
Group A.
Hey, we look after each other as a team. That's the most important thing.
Shout out
That's why
to
we're on top.
Diego Armando, who
Yeah.
pulled a nice qualifying session. Best qualifying for the year. I think he managed to qualify 3rd for this race, which definitely threw a little spanner in the works, which was great to see, keeping things interesting. And I think, as you were just saying there, Sean, the Ferrari boys, to be congratulated, doing well and sitting in a good little position for next season with all this experience they've racked up in the
I will say, though, Nux really doesn't have a sense of occasion. Like, seriously.
Really?
Like he was on for his best result of the season. Nux couldn't just back out of it, and just go, you know what? We'll let Lucky get this one, but no, not Nux. That's not the way he rolls. And what about you, Andrew? How's sort of looking forward to this weekend? You confident, not confident?
Look, I've not had much practice leading into this one so far. I'll certainly get a full day in on Saturday, but I ended up going back to work with this lockdown in Melbourne, so I haven't had any free time.
Oh,
Just send it, mate. Just send it.
Yeah, so I'll get some practice in on the weekend before the race, but I don't know. I enjoy Nurburgring, but whether I'm fast at Nurburgring is the question.
Yeah.
oh wow. So apparently Lucky
Through.
let him through. Oh, jeez, mate. Okay, I'm just going to quickly cover it off because me and Jimmy were talking about this, and it's something that gets up our goat. This whole notion of just people letting people past just does not sit with me at all.
There's
I'm
a
a
time and a place.
time and a
Yeah,
place,
time and a
yeah.
place, time and a place.
But I'm a competitive animal, and yeah, I just
Yeah.
I
I
can't.
lock up the car and put it sideways to get past her.
Yeah, I'm just one of those
Pulling
people.
back. Sad.
Oh, now the good doctor, RX-7, your Ferrari is out of the booth, ready and waiting for you.
Oh, really?
Oh, so a little bit
Okay.
of juicy goss there.
There you
There
go.
you go. There you go, mate. You've joined the dark side.
Oh,
But
wow.
clearly you're
that
paying
mob-
that livery
that
more
mob
than
is
what
no
I'm
good.
paying.
So, he's off to go drive for those blokes.
Oh,
Wowee.
dearie me. Righto, good luck to you, Andrew.
I'm good luck in myself in a Ferrari. That's all I'm saying.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Have much experience in the Ferrari?
Crapple.
Oh, yep, good. Well prepared. You'll fit right in down there.
I've decided to stay away from it until season's end, purely because, as a lot of everyone will know, you've kind of got to adjust your driving style with that car. So,
Yeah.
I don't want to pick up any bad habits.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, definitely. Oh, scooter. Oh, wow. I think before we do move on, I do want to sort
Of course.
cover off sort of a couple of things. There were some incidents in the S1 GT race that, well, left a little bit to be desired. And this whole notion of just rocking up and sending it is... It's going to wear a bit thin, I think, with a few drivers, especially the more experienced drivers that have been here a while. So, especially with the Ferrari as well next season, you can maybe bash and crash a little bit with some of these bigger front-rear cars. But the Ferrari does not like it. It's a dainty little thing. And, yeah, if you get too cute with it, it'll throw you off before you can even say, where did that come from? But anyway, we'll move on because let's not turn this into a shit-throwing content. Oh, someone's sliding to someone's DMs.
Windows Fender. Annoying.
So, Claude, did you want to do your announcement now before we
why not? Let's get it out of
dive
the way.
into our hot topic?
Had some really good news. We've got a hard-working little B at S1 and CP. Shizer, Henry, who's actually been a bit crook the last 3 days. Shout out to Henry. Get better soon, mate. Has managed to continue his development of the relationship between S1, CP, and Next Level, to where now Next Level is offering to up their support of Sector 1, which is fantastic news. As a result, they will be our prime sponsor, I believe, for next season, for the, the Competizione.
The 458 Competizione.
Series.
Have a drink.
Competizione. Okay. 458 series, and we will, as a result, they've offered support in the way of little prizes to go through season, one of which will be announced, I hope, during Community Series on Thursday, what the competition will be and what the prize will be, and winners to be announced at the following Microsector, which is a fortnight away, but yeah, so it's the beginnings of hopefully something big with a mob that's quite interested in what we're doing. But shout out again to Henry for all the hard work. I just get to announce it. Shizer's the man behind the scenes who just won't give up, and he's managed to break through there. There is talk of, look, I don't want to get too far ahead without confirming, so I might wait a little bit further before I mention any other sort of suppliers or businesses that are thinking of getting involved in this upper sort of level. So great news for everybody at S1, which obviously will hopefully result in some form of little kickbacks, as always, with codes, buy codes and that sort of thing for our members, for our community people, anybody interested in going from a DS4 to a rig. Opportunities will be there, or even just thinking of upgrading an older rig, opportunities will be there. And we will keep you posted with the development of that. But just to announce at this stage that they will be our prime named sponsor for season 2 of Sector 1.
Very exciting. So with that, I'll announce the 3 categories for next season and their primary sponsors. So it will be the Next Level 458 Competizione. That will be our main series. The Aussie Hampton BMW M3 Challenge, and the Auto 1 Sector 1 Community Series. We want to give a big shout out also to Revolution Race Gear for their support this season as well. So a big thank you to them as well. So moving forward, that will be our 3 series. Logos have been made in that, and if you did tune in early, you would have seen them. So looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to saying competizione a lot. It's a great word. So, moving on to our hot topic, and this was one actually Claude sort of muted a couple of weeks ago.
I think we just stumbled on it, really, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, and so it was sort of been thinking about it, and sort of, I think the last week's actually really hit home as well with sort of some of the stories that's come out of the sports media lately. Like, oh my god. For example, did anyone see the story this week that Buddy Franklin took his bins out?
I saw something about it. Yes.
Yeah. And basically that was sort of my point, and sort of why there aren't any big characters in sport anymore, or very few. We remember sort of in my era and that pretty much every second footy player is someone's making a drink. Every second footy player was a big, loud character. Pretty much all the Australian cricket team were big, loud characters. Race car drivers, wrestlers. Everyone was sort of a big character. In this day and age, it's very difficult to sort of find one. And
But you know why?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
My very simple thought is that we've got to blame the social media aspect to it. If you're a character, you've got an opinion with that character, and some people take that as a positive, some people take that as a negative. All of a sudden you've created banter on the internet, and you're being black flagged for being a character.
That's a good point. Yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
I thought Pruski joined tonight's podcast solely to discuss this topic because I thought it would have been one of his pet peeves, really. And I think we're probably going to have most of the boys in S1 on our side on this particular topic. But yeah, I think it's the advent of social media has brought on this thing where people are allowed to take offence to things and voice the offence and or expect action to be taken because of the offence. Where once upon a time, if you heard something that offended you, well, okay, good on you. If we said, that, I don't know, all Collingwood supporters, they're uneducated, toothless. Add to this for me, Janwyl.
We're smarter than that, mate. That's the great thing about AFL is you can say that to me and I'll just take it on the chin and embrace it.
That's exactly right, So, and even if you did take offence to it, you'd go on whatever, but that would be the end of your sook.
Yeah.
But nowadays, you're allowed to take that offence to social media and destroy the person because there's so many of these soft people around that think that being offended is the worst thing on earth, and as a result of that, now nobody can risk a career. I watch stuff from the 80s all the time, and even now I find myself going, oh, shit. Can you believe he said that back then? Nowadays, you just know that he'd get poleaxed for having said what he said or doing what he did. Can you guys imagine Benny Hill on today on TV? How long it would last before it'd get taken off?
Oh.
And all in innocent fun, all in the name of comedy. And let's be aware that while I raise comedy, I'm into comedy and I'm into, a few stand-up comedians and guys. And it is really the last area that's fighting for the ability to get away with the unspeakable and get away with it. And even they're copying it, it's just shit times.
It is. So you go and rock up to one of your best mates just had the birth of a child, and look, he might be of a... how do I say this in a politically correct world? See, we're already talking about it. But they're a darker skin of normal, right? They're a Lewis Hamilton. Like, Lewis Hamilton, here we go. Lewis Hamilton gets a wife, gets married, all that stuff, and has a child. Now, if Kimi Räikkönen rocks up at his house and gives the baby a gollywog as its first teddy bear... the internet would just melt down and just cane the absolute hell out of him. Like, because people now take offence to a gollywog. And now, they were things of yesteryear, but by God, you couldn't buy one today.
No.
I sent them on Marketplace last week, dude. Facebook's selling them.
Do you have any thoughts,
as a
Andrew?
result,
Before I let Claude
No.
go on?
Andrew.
Sorry?
I don't know.
Andrew. Yep, Andrew's thoughts on that.
Definitely with the likes of social media around these days, it's if you don't fit under one umbrella or the other, then nobody likes you.
Yeah.
I agree with that to a point. I actually blame sports media more. Some of the sports media this day and age is simply ridiculous. It's no longer journalism. It's basically, oh, I've got an opinion. Okay, I'm going to share it with everyone. It might be fact, it might not be fact. But the point of the story is, and it ties in with social media. So basically, that's why I brought up the Buddy Franklin story. When ever has that been a news story? Like a sports star takes his bins out. But in 2020, it's a story. You know,
it's what happens when you can no longer write anything interesting about a person because that person had to become a cardboard cutout of a sports person for pure fear. No, it's not. A lot of sports people would probably thrive under this, you know, where they're not expected to have personalities because they might not have one. You know, they're thinking, well, this is great. I get to stay out of the news and keep my anonymity, and but then there are others that are just naturally, and I think we'll mention some of these names maybe when we get into our top 5. People who, and I'll mention one who's my number 5 now, just to sort of start the ball rolling. And in my eyes, the last football entertainer, and I know it's a bit under sort of blue-coloured sunnies, but Brendan Favola. It was a guy who played football to entertain, and he had a personality which he couldn't control behind it. That was just him. You know, and yeah, he loved to drink and too much and loved to punt too much. We all know that sort of stuff. But
he's done 2 full 360-degree spin-outs on his life. Like he's been to the high,
but the one thing that was always constant with him was if you spoke to anybody who knew
pressure
him,
point.
he was a good fella. You know, he was a really nice guy.
Yeah, I've met Fev before, and yeah. Actually met him at Crown Casino at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Can I throw a positive spin on the social media thing? On the like celebrity scale, I think it's pretty useless, if you know what I mean. I don't care what Beyonce has to say about some like thingo or anything like that. But the ability for us in different regions of Australia to get together and organise like a group of people to race together, whether or not we're all racing the same series, but just communicating with each other, whether it's iRacing or GT Sport or anything like that, and go, we can do that. Car collectors can get together and they can be in different sides of the country, and you go, I think that's the more important part about social media is those small communities that we've already had in like real life. It's just we're like learning to get it together on like a internet level, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I
it's
think
very
we're
easy to focus on purely the negatives, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And that's what media does. They focus on purely the negative aspects of everything.
And I think we're one of the positive social media communities that are out there. How whether we're small or big or whatever that is, but it's like, no, we bring people together around Australia and New Zealand and give them something to look forward to on a Sunday or a Thursday.
Yeah, no, that's well said. Couldn't agree with that more. But going on with Claude's point there as well, that, you know, media is negative. Sports media especially is negative. Like,
it's shocking.
You could see a fantastic game of football, for example, and, you know, some great players, some great players, and you jump on Twitter, and the first thing that Tom Dickhead Brown says, or bloody... or bloody Damien Got No Brains Barrett, or Hutchie, or any of those idiots say, is the negative out of the game. And it hits me to tears.
We all know it's the outcome of when money talks and bullshit walks.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, news coverage in general these days is nothing to do with the news. It's got purely to do with
clicks.
How many papers are bought or how many clicks are made.
Yeah.
And that's always going to taint the angle that the news coming at you comes from. You know, you can have a headline. Absolutely. Yeah. You can have a heading says, you know, fantastic game of footy played on the weekend, and you go, great. But if that fantastic game of footy, there was a moment where one of the guys, you know, made a symbol where he's, you know, God knows, injected his arm, you know, the old fucking thing that happened with the Bombers, and I can't remember who the player was.
Mitchell.
Was it Hodgie?
No, Mitchell from Hawthorn, yeah.
You know, that's the news of the game,
you
know, because that's what's going to get you to click on the bloody article. But it's just a sad state of affairs for sport. If we just keep it within the realm of sport, where you can't get the genuine guts of sport anymore. It's all about all the fringy bullshit stuff that the media thinks. Unfortunately, they're right. The majority care about, but the true purists of the sport don't, and they're the ones that miss out these days.
Agreed.
When it comes to media coverage.
Yeah, well, my favourite sports journalist is Nerily Meadows because everything she writes is positive. She gets the human side of these sports stars. You feel like you get to know them. She has a great podcast called Ordinarily Speaking. Highly recommend it, guys. Really, really good.
Try to get down.
Yeah, and that's the sports journalism I like. I also love American sports, and there is a journalist, loosely journalist, named Skip Bayless. This guy is the bane of my existence. We all can agree, besides Michael Jordan, LeBron's pretty much the greatest. Let's be honest.
LeBron James is the greatest.
Okay, well, that's
besides Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that's a topic for another day. I've never known one journalist to have so much hatred for one guy. It is ridiculous. Like, every tweet, it's like, oh, well played, LeBron, but it's like far out. Like, I just don't get it. It really annoys me, and I think that's why these sports stars now don't show their true character. One, because of social media, but two, you just know that Damien Barrett's got to door stomp your front door and go, why did you do that? That's not allowed. That's not politically correct. Blah, 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 blah. And next thing you know, you're on page 3.
Yeah. And I'm just looking at, I don't know what Sam was getting at there. Sam Templeton, Lucky's there, the great exit T3. I don't know what he's getting at, but what it reminded me of when I saw T3 was Bay 13. I don't know why that just popped into my head, but that's probably a thing of the past that we've all forgotten about. Bay 13 at the G was the larrikins area of sports people to sit down and watch cricket, and everything was fair game if you were sitting there. And, if some of the shit that used to go on sitting in Bay 13 happened today, you'd be straight out the door.
You're going home in the back of the DB van.
That whole section would be empty. And it was just so much fun. Mm-hmm. And that's the bit I think that
you can't even build a beer snake anymore at the cricket. Like, what the hell's that?
Everybody loses. You just can't have fun
couple of things here. Lucky's talking about a meet-up next season or next year at the Australian F1 Grand Prix. We have a meet spot. It is a great at the exit of Turn 3. That's where we all meet. Bring your cheesels. I know what that means. But if you do want to know more, please ask Lucky. He will more than happily explain.
I'm keen for that.
Scooter, that's exactly right, Scooter. Skip Ray Allen saved LeBron's legacy, Bayless, 100% correct. CB, Pat McAfee, yes. Pat McAfee is awesome, Chris, 100%. I do listen to his podcast. He's very, very cool.
Collingwood supporter as well.
Yes, he is. Mr. Buncrack, the hill at the SCG was the same. Well, all the old grounds had a spot. You had the hill at the Adelaide Oval. You had the entire Wacker. That's just one loose place over there. CB, the Bathurst at the top of the hill. Yep, used to be crazy. That's right. And now it's just...
back of the Ute at the Main Ridge Cricket Club. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Now it's just, you can't... mate, you piss sideways and someone will bloody poster it all over Instagram.
GTR, don't start about Collingwood, mate. Sorry.
So, and I think that's sort of my thinking anyway.
Yeah, look, it's just, I think, a world where even the slightest controversy could be the end of you as a sports personality. And
I'm scared shitless for my kids, and they're only 10 and 11.
Yeah.
I can't speak any word of the truth. Like, I'm really worried. I mean, every previous generation, like my parents, I'm sure, have said it the same and whatnot. But we want it to go back. But what the hell's it going to be in 5 years' time?
You'll be right, Sunshine.
I'll be right, but it's the kids that I'm worried about.
And they'll be right because you'll be right. You're stressing too much about nothing.
You,
5 years ago. What
Do you go
5
to-
years?
You just go mow your lawns, buddy.
Do you go to many?
Just
Do you go to many sporting events, Andrew? Yourself, like motorsport or?
Yeah, I try and go to. It's been a while since I've been to the Oz Grand Prix, but I did go a few years in a row. I try and catch. In my younger years, my father still works for Yamaha at the moment. I was able to score hospitality tent tickets with the Yamaha boys, so it was good being on the front straight watching them go by.
Oh wow! Okay, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Slide in old mate's DMs. And,
That's right.
So,
Maybe,
it's always good.
Maybe we kick into our top fives.
Yep. I've just got a
we've
couple of
covered
things
the
we'll read. Couple of things read out here. Us wild lads are out of place nowadays. From Chris. Yeah, agree with that. Okay, Scooter's got some sort of New Zealand reference, so I don't know what that means. VLX says in 5 years it'll be like Wimbledon. Well, that's another thing. The Australian Open. Like, the Australian Open used to be loose as, and now it's...
Yeah.
But, all right, let's move on to the top five, because I could talk about this all night. Like, seriously.
Same.
Yeah, gets on my goat. So, top five is top 5 sporting characters now. And actually, top 5 sporting
Slash
personalities. Yeah, now... I think a few of us went different ways with this. I know I went a completely different way than everyone else. Of course I did.
Well, we just explain, maybe each person explain quickly what their
Yeah. So we might go...
motivations were.
Yep, we'll go with Janwyl first. And as always, Janwyl's got a graphic and so does Mr. RX7. Janwyl's up first. There we go. So there is Janwyl's top 5. And the floor is yours, sir.
So I've number 5 picked Kimi Räikkönen because I know nothing about F1. I've only just picked it up in the last couple of weeks, but I've been watching his radio videos and everything like that.
The irony.
I need to take a shit. I was taking a shit instead of. Sorry.
That's one of his best lines. I love that. You missed the Pele introduction. Yeah, I was taking a shit. It's so
I
good.
just go, he is one bloke that I would just love to sit down and have a beer with and just learn about F1 from the perspective of a loose driver. I can't put it simpler than that, I don't think.
No, I couldn't agree more. Kimmy's a legend.
Number 4 is Mr. Richie Benaud.
Respect.
Legend.
And I just think he's the voice of cricket for, I don't know, people my age and older. You just go on summer, Channel 9, turn it on, you'd hear Richie's voice some point in the day.
Foxtel's doing a big run through of a lot of the old one-day games at the moment, and you get to see a lot of Richie in that, and fuck, memories rush back, eh?
Oh, it's such a unique voice, and I don't think anyone's ever going to come close to that.
Of course,
in
with
my
the famous,
lifetime, I don't think.
with the famous beige, cream, off-white, bone jacket. Richie's,
And-
yeah, legend.
The part that made me really fall in love with Richie was the 12th Man CDs.
Yes, yep.
Absolute classics, and just listening to him doing the cricket commentary, I just want him to drop like a 12th man line all the time, just going like, will he do it, will he do it? But
Another one of those items that if you made one today wouldn't be accepted all that
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yep. Just coming up with the names would be frowned upon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Arada
jar of
motherfucker.
Vegemite for me and Dad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Brendan.
And,
Who's what, Biddy?
Dearie me.
Number 3 is the original GOAT before LeBron James comes along. But Michael
Can
Jordan.
only be one goat. Can only be one goat.
And Space Jam, the Bulls, just like my whole growing up life, especially being so involved in basketball, like everybody had number 23 Bulls jersey or something to do with Michael Jordan, whether it be a basketball or a hat or something like that. It's just like,
Transcended
he's the
sport.
man.
Yeah.
I'll back you up there on the 23. Like I've picked that numerous times. It may happen to be my race car number on the race car that we've got in the Sector 1. I look at that number. It's the most successful sporting number in the world.
LeBron, Wade,
Put it on the map.
Warren, Jordan.
Yeah.
You can just keep going through the list. Like, there's so many people that have worn 23 and been successful in it.
Michael Clark was number 23.
Yeah.
Well,
They
he
all-
inherited
all-
that from Shane
Buddy.
Warne.
Yeah, all
Buddy Franklin.
led.
Yeah. My brain escapes all the people that have worn 23 right now. I could reel them off at like 12 o'clock today. Number 2 is Brock Lesnar. Like, he's a freak. Like, NCAA collegiate wrestling champion, everything like that. UFC champion. Look at the dude. He's just like crazy looking. Like, what the
Yeah,
hell? And he's just a farm. He's a
He's a
farmer.
Marvel character, and he unfortunately
Like-
career probably cut short.
I will say one thing about Brock. That I'm a bit of a wrestling fan, like Janwyl is as well. He lacks one thing: mic skills.
Mike skills.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Have you heard
He
him
has
talk
Paul
about
Heyman.
turning chicken shit into chicken salad?
Yeah.
I think yes. I think he's
Go listen to that chicken
persona-
shit into chicken salad. It's beautiful. He's got mic skills and everything. They
I
just
think
set
his
him
mic
up perfectly
persona
to make
just
him look like a
matched-
beast.
matched him. You know,
Yeah,
you weren't
yeah.
going to expect an intellectual conversation to come out of Brock, you know, so you never got that. But yeah, geez, he exploded on the scene in the UFC and defeated and beat some legit MMA fighters. But then, as I was saying before, unfortunately, he had some sort of a stomach injury issue there, which pretty much cut his career in the UFC short and forced him out of the sport again. But
And
Yeah.
then makes millions in WWE and he's all sweet.
yes, that's right.
Comes back, beats Mark Hunt fat with six pack. How do you do that?
Yeah.
Anyway, number 1 is Shane Warne, obviously.
Warnie!
Warnie would be happy with that photo, I reckon.
Yeah, he would.
I would have rather the stump over the head on top of the balcony.
yeah,
but, you know,
yep.
we'll give Warnie the benefit of the doubt in this opportunity.
I literally
And,
chose that photo just because of what Claude said, because I thought, yeah, Warnie would look at that on his Instagram. Look at that good-looking rooster.
He's the man. Like, you know, could have got a game at St Kilda, whatever like that, but the best spin bowler that's ever been. Probably the best Australian cricketer bloke that's ever been around. Like, you say
Debatable, but yeah.
Booney or whatever like that, you go, nah, Warning. He's
A legend of the game. I mean,
a legend of the game and just a weird
Wisden's-
unit outside of the game.
Wisden's 20th,
And I don't think
20th century
anybody
cricketer
can
of the year.
compare to the weirdness.
did they name him number 1? Did they?
Yep.
Did they? Yeah.
The thing with Warnie,
Talk too long.
I think, I just want to touch on what the thing with Warnie, I think, because I know his story quite well. And this was a guy that wasn't actually blessed with a lot of cricketing talent. He worked very, very hard at it. And he actually credits a lot of his success to Terry Jenner. But
Having said that, though, he did have a lot of genetic things going
Yes.
for him. Abnormal size hands.
yep,
You know, fingers that are as thick as sausages, and you just put a cricket ball in his hand, it disappeared. But I know what you mean, Sean.
Yeah.
He wasn't, and not only that, he really wasn't that into cricket. You
no,
know,
he wasn't. He
just-
wanted to play footy for St Kilda.
He
That
wanted to
was
play
his
footy,
thing.
and when that didn't work out, he said, all right, well, I'll give this other thing a go. And then he came across good people that helped him out, Terry Jenner being one of those. Many stories about, you know, the relationship between those two guys, and but then the rest is history. But that's a solid top 5 there, Janwyl.
Definitely. And one of the
Thanks, mate.
best cricketing brains ever.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. RX7. There you go. Is his top 5? The
Yeah,
floor is
so,
yours, sir.
Yeah. top 5. Mine, I'll put it out there. It's not in any kind of order. I chose to choose sort of 5 individuals from sort of a couple of different disciplines. It's mostly motorsport. You can see number 5 there is just a bit off left field. Number 5, Greg Norman. In my early 2000 years, I was a bit of an avid golfer, so he was obviously a name getting thrown around at that time for his history, with plenty of wins in there.
Some heartbreaking losses.
Yeah, I was about to say one of the biggest all-time meltdowns in history.
But it was just I wanted to throw something else in there besides only motorsport. But Greg Norman was the first name that came up when I thought of golf in my early years. Number 4, Mr. Valentino.
The Doc.
Fair to say he's a big name in MotoGP.
He's just a lovable character. I mean, tell me something negative about him.
Yeah, exactly. I can't think of anything. I haven't heard
apart from some of the manufacturers that he's decided to ride for over the years. But
just another character that 9 times out of 10 you see a smile on his face.
He's 40 and rides a MotoGP bike. Like, seriously.
Yeah. And
he's going next year.
So just one personality that shines bright in the MotoGP world. Another one there, number 3, Travis Pastrana. He's done so much in the time that he's been around. For obviously bringing freestyle motocross to the general public, I guess, and as well as a lot of the action sports, and you can definitely put a special mention there for the likes of Dave Mirra and Tony Hawk, helping that as well.
I think Pastrana, my biggest memory of Pastrana is the double backflip at X Games.
Yep.
I watched that live. I'll never forget that. Like, he was, in my opinion, Mr. Progression.
And thanks to the lack of social media back then, it wasn't talked about saying, watch this, he's going to pull a special move, he's going to do a double backflip. It just happened in front of us, and we were just like, oh my... I'll use the Claude word. Oh my fucking god!
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And obviously he's dabbled himself into everything as well. So, he's done a bit of rallying and stuff like that. So, he's a bit of a jack of all trades. And my last 2 there, I've decided to go with an equal, due to both of their influence on the Formula 1 world. So you've got Murray Walker there and Bernie Ecclestone.
My man.
Fair to say, Bernie Ecclestone, as much of some of his crazy ideas he's come up with, he's also done a lot to get F1 in the position it is today. And that's it. And Murray Walker, well, I don't know. I think his voice and his commentary says what needs to be said.
Well, yeah, iconic, isn't it?
Bernie.
Iconic.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a beer with Bernie.
Solid 5. Krusky, did you put the effort in? Did you prepare?
Absolutely I did.
Oh, here we go.
Surprise, I'm surprised.
Well, obviously, because I just got gate crashed this party tonight. I don't get like the glossy photo with the photos.
I never get the glossy photos, mate.
I don't know what would my little logo be in the middle of the screen with the selection of my top 5 and the photo.
Beyonce's butt.
Mapatazzi.
Would it be a photo of Beyonce or
J-Lo?
Just the wide hips with a Mapatazzi in the middle of it, mate.
I was going to say, what about a blurred image?
Oh, yeah.
Not blurred, mate. I'll do you a graphic up. Filthy, get on it. Filthy, we need to get on it.
So I sort of partially observed those that have chosen top 5s tonight, and I thought, well, I need to have a broad spectrum like I'm sporting, just like everyone else here as well. So my top 5, number 5 was Jim Richards, Gentleman Jim.
Pack of ourselves.
Yeah, well, but it's still a character nonetheless, and it's a personality.
Yeah,
and,
I agree.
And we still talk about that famous phrase which you just said a matter of seconds ago today. So to me, that's number 5. No, number 4. Well, someone else has already touched on a bit of sort of like the wrestling sort of category, but for me in my heyday, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was a gentleman of the sport, but was still good at what he did, both on the field. My man. So, number 3, Michael Jordan. We've already discussed that. Don't need to say any more. I had to throw one into cricket. Now, I expected others to introduce Shane Warne and that there as well. I thought, well, we actually want a personality and not a sportsman themselves. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of credit is not given to the umpires, I feel. So I went with the crooked finger. I went with Billy Bowden.
Billy.
So he was a personality. He brought fun.
Something to the game. Yep.
He did, but
In an
as an
area
umpire,
you wouldn't expect it. Yeah.
You've got it. So I mean, credit where credit's due. Had to throw in Billy. And number 1, well, I'm Formula 1 mad, as everyone knows, and for me it's Danny Rick. So nothing. Don't think anything needs to be said.
Prusky, I'm going to agree on those. They're good ones.
Very well done, sir.
I'm impressed. So I didn't know what angle to take this from, but as in, were they great sports people? But I thought it needed to be more about they were sports people who then proved to have personalities maybe in the long run, more so than during their sporting period. So I mentioned earlier, Brendan Favola to me is the last of the old school footballers, a bloke who showed personality on the ground, off the ground, entertained, incredibly talented. Went on to stuff up many times, rebound. Now I think he's talkback radio. Yep. Doing things that we never expected Fev would be doing, and good on him for it. But yeah, a personality, and this is what we're getting at is with that conversation we had earlier. I don't think Fev gives 2 shits what anybody says on social media about him. He's just going to say whatever pops into his head. And these are the sports people you need to get behind and sort of encourage to continue doing the same and not become, bland, fucking boring people. We need to support these guys who are just willing to say what they feel like saying at the time, and there's many of them around. I thought number 4, I put down an old school Fev, maybe Lou Richards. Lou Richards, a guy who I grew up watching on television. I saw none of his playing days, but Lou was a TV personality, an icon. Sad passing not long ago, but somebody who definitely was a big sporting personality. At number 3, we've got John McEnroe in the tennis arena.
Oh.
Again, just somebody who, played the game and played it hard, but again, it was just whatever he felt like saying was coming out, whether you liked it or not, and people loved it. People loved it. They hated him, but they loved him. And it again created for great, clashes of personalities with the exact opposite of himself in Bjorn Borg, etc. But a personality, somebody who was willing to speak his mind and never held back. I was interested with, who was it? I think it was Janwyl who popped up Brock Lesnar. Conor McGregor. I don't like Conor McGregor.
I was waiting for this one.
I don't like Conor McGregor. But what he did for a sport, and let's just, I'm a UFC fan, but I can't remember anybody in recent times doing something for a sport in the way Conor McGregor did for the UFC.
I have an amateur boxing record because of him.
Say again?
I have an amateur boxing record because of him.
Explain.
Jesus, look out.
So I watched the fight between Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. And then been hooked up with a boxing trainer because of that fight.
Right on.
And
being motivated by it.
Yeah, end up training for 10 weeks before I got in the ring and went 0-1 as an amateur boxer.
Good shit.
But
mate.
the 10 weeks just with the fellas and everything like that, boxing, brilliant experience.
Fuck wood, baby.
Yeah, just tested me. Sorry
No,
to
that's all right.
interrupt you.
No. It's interesting. So just a guy again who brought back, fancy getting up on stage there, press conferences talking about red panty nights, and he didn't care, and people loved him for it. I think he's proven to be a bit of a dick since his what you call his heyday. He might come back and win me back again, but Conor McGregor did it right. And finally, in that same arena, and I think is a guy you might want to have a go at him because he was good with the ladies. But other than that, Muhammad Ali, a guy who stood for so much, and was, I think, a personality in a realm where you wouldn't have expected, and again at a time like that, a black man to be a personality, an intelligent personality, and somebody who stood up at a time where everybody was telling him to cower and to fucking be nothing. He stands as a giant. So there's the top 5 anyway.
Good top 5, solid. I like it.
Bit of research.
All right, so my top 5. These were not so much the best, but I went for the most polarising and intriguing personalities. So number 5, the Wiz, Warwick Kappa. What a unit this guy is. First thing I want to say off the bat, though, I think people forget how good of a footballer he was. He could seriously play.
He didn't give a fuck either.
Nope, did not give an absolute crap. Wore the tightest shorts ever I've seen on a footballer. And of course, after his career, he went on to become a huge personality, especially up on the Gold Coast. He's a big personality.
Saw him up there when I was last up there.
Yep. Hates talking about himself.
He's on the couch interview.
Yes, I did.
That was a classic.
Definitely refers himself to in the third person a lot. I'm a big fan of the Wiz. I think he's great. Number 4, Big Merv, Mervyn Hughes.
Swervin'
Mervyn. This is a guy that could get 50,000 beer drinking blokes at the MCG to do exercises. That was the infectious personality of Merv. As you can see, never was a picture of fitness, but boy could he bowl a cricket ball. Really
solid statue.
Lovable larrikin, and he's a bloody Victorian. I didn't know, though, with the passing of Dean Jones, that him and Dean Jones didn't speak for nearly 20 years.
No shit.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Right.
So that's a little bit sad, but I love Merv. Just the bowling style. A guy runs in, most cricketers run in straight. Merv comes in on the 45-degree angle. Chain flopping around. Big Merv fan. Number 3, Barry Sheen. Barry.
Fucking hell.
Yep, love Barry.
Go on.
It's 7 past 9. Very good. Sorry for corpsing.
Oh, that's gold.
Oh, yeah, that is good. Barry, fantastic motorcycle rider. But I think where Barry really came into his own was after he retired. We all remember those great ads with Dickie Johnson, the Shell ads. His commentary on the supercars as well. He loves Australia. And just an iconic voice. It was really sad when he did pass away way too young. If you have a chance, jump on YouTube and just go listen to some of his commentary back in the day. It was just pure gold. Now, number 2 is super controversial. It is Lance Armstrong. Reason.
No balls.
Polarizing. This guy, now, I'm a big... I gotta remember how I'm going to word this. I was a Lance Armstrong fan. Big fan. I thought that, when he come back from cancer, he put cycling on the map, basically. The Tour de France was a very niche sort of thing. Then Lance come along and it was everywhere. With his Live Strong Foundation. He was very outspoken as well about the UCI and the sport in general, but just a bigger than sport personality he was. He was dating Sheryl Crow and all that stuff. Then there was a day
for the butt.
Yep, there was a day in 2001. They were on Alpe d'Huez. Him and Jan Ulrich were side by side. I'm a big Tour fan, so I've watched a lot of them. and it's known as the look. And Lance literally looked over his shoulder and powered up Alpe d'Huez like I've never seen anyone power up Alpe d'Huez before. And that was the day I went, hang on, something ain't right here. Of course, then he come out and there was that controversy, you know, after he retired, then he come back and the noise got louder and louder and louder and louder. Then, of course, he did the famous Oprah interview. And then, of course, he did another special, which was on ESPN a couple of months ago. And he just does not give a shit about what people think about him at all.
If you get a chance to watch Joe Rogan's podcast with him too.
Yep.
He was a bit more apologetic at that stage. But yeah, he's hard to find a more disliked sportsman.
Oh, he's the most polarising sports figure I think we've ever had. Just completely, like, just he always evokes a reaction out of everyone. Lance does. But number one, it's Ayrton Senna. Like, you want to talk about polarising? You want to talk about intriguing? This guy believed he was put on this earth to become world champion. By God.
Selected.
One of the most, sort of off the track, had a big heart, gave lots to the community in Brazil, cared about his fellow drivers and, really showed so much empathy. Put him in a race car and he became a cold-blooded stone killer. Remember, this is a guy who'll put his car in a position where you had to make the decision, either crash or back out. And as Jeremy Clarkson said in his famous special, as soon as you backed out of it, he had you. Mentally had you.
Probably...
because he's trying to kill everybody.
Yep. He's my number one sports idol as well. I love Anson. I always have. I'm fascinated by him. I'm fascinated by his story. And he's just sheer ruthlessness to win. But yeah,
which is always probably a prime reason of concern for his fellow drivers, wasn't it? This belief that he had that he was, God put him where he was to do what he did, and his decisions were almost led by that belief in God.
That's what scares me about Morgan Davey.
What?
I love you, brother.
That's gold. But yeah, so his fellow drivers would be thinking this guy's a little bit psycho. And in those days in Formula One, you couldn't crash at 250k an hour and expect to survive,
or not get burned alive.
Yeah, so look, I'm a massive Ayrton Senna fan. My family comes from that part of the world, and he's a god in that part of the world. But that part of it always sort of like was a bit that stuck in my head. Is you're competing against a guy who claims he's there because God told him and designated him to be there. I'd be scared of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's already in your head, so he's won the game.
Yeah, exactly.
He was racing against Nigel Mansell, though, so... I mean, I've got his Super Nintendo game, but I don't have it for Senna's, so... Mansell forever.
Race the Professor, of course, Alan Prost's golden era of Formula One racing, eh?
Hey, Williams and Altus, they're kind of the same.
Are they? I don't think so, because I'm a fan of Williams.
Oh! Wow!
I'm sorry. The triangle structure of FPC is based off Altus's grand plan of success.
I'm waiting for Claude to say which was based off the CP model.
Oh, well, everything's based on
So I've got a couple of things here. I saw some guys' top fives right up the top here, so I'm going to try and scroll back up because I want to read out a couple of the guys. Womble says Mika Hakkinen, Eddie Jordan, Kimi, Ayrton Senna, Danny Ricciardo, and Scaife & Co. Now imagine sitting around at a bar with Eddie Jordan, Kimi Räikkönen, Barry Sheene, and James Hunt. Oh, what a night that would be.
And Scaife wanted to throw cans at him.
Chris says Lando Norris, Rob Gronkowski, the Gronk, yep.
Also, David Beckham wore the 23 at LA Galaxy, apparently.
Daniel Ricciardo, Kimi Raikkonen, and Pat McAfee. Morgan Davies says Mark Scaife, Mark Scaife, Mark Scaife, Mark Scaife, Mark Scaife.
It's not Black Wheels.
Oh, jeez. You're killing me, man. Buffer says, Wazzy Akram never been behind bars.
Yeah. Was he a cream? Was he a cream? Go forever, these ones.
Rabatunga down the throat.
That's right.
Very good, very good. You guys are on form.
There was another one. Give him Ali.
A 12th man. You can nearly we can nearly do a microsector just on the 12th man. So many classic lines.
We shouldn't.
We shouldn't though. Yeah, someone will get offended.
Another trivial fact: LeBron James wore number 23 too.
Because his idol was Michael Jordan.
Yep.
You've got the backstory. Well done.
He wore 6 as a head.
So we've got
2 championships.
So we've got a little bit of time. We normally guys, if you want to ask any questions, or you got any questions for our special guests, anything you want us to talk about.
Sean, I think we've missed something before we get into the open banter chat, and that is the race that's coming up this weekend. Unless you're going to save that for later.
Well, okay, no, we can get into a bit of a Group B preview.
Definitely.
Because I've got 2 drivers coming up this weekend, and of course I'm going to plug them because I know they're going to win.
Oh wow!
No. I've dropped to B, mate.
You don't have to race us, so it's all good. Chance he might win.
So Group B is this weekend. I'm just going to bring up the grid now because I'm not. I know that there's some. Where is it? No, wrong one. You numbskull.
Come on, I've got it up ready to go.
That's what she said. Or someone got someone got offended. I better not say that.
I didn't get it.
All right, so the Group B BMW race. So we've got Filthy, we've got Sandman, we've got Womble, we've got the Moth, we've got Excalibur, we've got the Good Doc, we've got Buffer, we've got CP Penalties, aka Flat Stick. We've got Faster Jet. We got now Debrev won't be racing. A big shout out to Debrev as well. He has had to pull out for the rest of the season. He's just
really?
Yeah, he's having some health concerns at the moment. So big thumbs up to Debrev. Keep fighting,
get
brother.
well soon, brother.
Get well soon, mate.
Get well, mate.
We've got Grim Death and Mr. Bumcrack, aka the Plumber. That's a spicy Group B. Jeez, I'll tell you what. I'm actually looking
It's not Group B, it's Group Carnage.
I'm looking forward to the battle of the admin. So we've got Filthy, Sandman, the Good Doc, and also Flat Stick. That's going to be the price of admission alone. That's going to be worth it. So thoughts, Claude? You've done.
I reckon if Sandman
haven't driven a lap again. I've been naughty. I haven't done any practice whatsoever. But I will jump on tomorrow and I plan to put in 150 laps. What?
And Jemana is racing Group B as well. Oh, wow. There we go. It's a full-on admin.
No chance then.
Group admin.
Jim Bob for the win. You heard it here first.
Jim Bob for the win. Yeah.
Jim Bob for the win.
No, not compete with Jim Bob.
I'm
One
telling
ball
you.
on the podium.
Oh, and Grassies as well. I forgot Grassies. Yep.
And Bumcrack.
I don't mind the track. It's a good track. Driven a lot of races there for S1 and formerly known championships, and don't mind it. So we'll see how we go. Should be fun. And then we've got GTB as well.
Yep, so a couple of housekeeping items to do with this one as well. So we've got Scotty G, we've got DJ Brain, check, y'all. Now, Clinty Gogo has stepped away from racing and Sector 1, I believe, for a little while. Yep. Due to, now I'm not sure if that's effective immediately or...
Oh, sad to hear that.
But I definitely know he's not racing next season, just due to some house stuff and just sort of real life getting in the way. But a big shout out to Clint. I know he'll be sticking around and getting involved. We've got Mr. Black Project RX7, that bloody rotary. We've got Berry, we've got CB Chris, we've got Mighty Mo, we've got Max Payne, we've got Kelfie, we've got Brainache, we've got Artie got the thump, Maverick, who will be racing in the Dynamite car. We've got now, I think Filthy's racing the TMR Blacklight Viper this week. I'm not 100% sure. And we've got Buffer, who is stepping in for Red Miss Racing. So,
Sorry, I'm a bit confused. Maverick Racing again?
yes,
Yeah, fill in. So going for teams points as opposed to an individual.
Gotcha.
That's not gonna matter, really.
How you feeling, Andrew?
Here, big Ed.
Excited?
Oh yeah, as I said earlier, the practice has been very minimal at the moment, but yeah. See how we
Any
go.
times set at all?
No, none at all really.
No times to report?
Probably I did a couple of laps after the last round, straight after, and I was only throwing 57s or something.
So
But, yeah,
Okay.
just learning. I guess I try and get ahead of Clint and DJ for towards the end of the season. You always want to be the top Lexus in the race, so
I think you've got a problem. His name's Artie Thump.
yeah,
Okay.
that's an issue.
Yeah, he's fast.
Doesn't Morgan drive a Lexus?
Morgan raced on the weekend, remember? Morgan just sent it from bloody nowhere and everyone.
Sorry.
Buffer has a GT lobby open. No, Buffer, you wait till after the Microsector's finished, please.
Correct.
That's paddling.
Wow.
That is a paddling.
That will be a 5-spot grid penalty for Buffer there, please.
Yeah. Sad to hear about Clint leaving.
Yeah, it is sad.
CB Racing.
It's not leaving, it's just to see you soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the OGs, Clint is,
Yes.
from back in the day. So, but I know he'll be around. Hopefully things sort of pan out on his end and he can come back and race with us very soon on his flash new homemade rig as well, which looks really cool. All right, so we're going to open the floor up, guys, for about 9 to 9.5 minutes. And any questions you want to ask, anything you want to say, please, the floor is yours. This is your forum for discussion. Yeah. Now, I'm hearing a lot of ice.
Smash some questions at me, boys.
I'm hearing a lot of ice clanking around. So who's drinking what at the moment?
Johnny Black.
Johnny Black?
I'm drinking Mountain Goat beer,
Yourself?
and I could not be further from the truth.
Wow.
It says very
Janwyl.
enjoyable beer.
There's a promotion going on Victoria with the VB slabs where you got to match up the
Oh, wow.
Here on the
Yeah,
BBs.
it's might be a good
Nice,
game.
man. Fuck yeah.
Yourself, Andrew?
What? Drinking?
Yeah. What are you drinking
Water
at the moment?
right now.
What? I beat you. I'm drinking a triple shot ice break. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Buffer would like to know favourite Tim Tam.
The double
Caramel.
one.
Caramel.
Caramel.
All of them.
The
All of
OJ Tim Tam with some ice cold fucking milk.
Yep. White chocolate for mine.
They've got enough sugar in them to taste the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good point.
They're all good.
Yeah, I'm not a sugar man myself either.
Anybody watch the Israel Adesanya fight on the weekend?
How good's the humping?
I love the humping.
What?
I was meant to mention him in personalities as a potential. That kid runs by the beat of his own drum in a massive way. If he was anybody else, you'd think you're a massive tosser, but he backs it. Unbelievable win on the weekend. He destroyed a fella who's beat the shit out of a lot of guys very
And
easily.
then he humped him afterwards. How great is that? I just go.
Yeah, but he's like...
Give-
look, I don't
you're
necessarily
right.
agree with the action with what he did, but the fact that he did it, he's like...
You could do that when you dismantle another bloke like that,
Yeah.
and hey, you leave yourself open to those things. You go,
So,
you
yeah,
put yourself in
so
that position. It
very,
happens.
very interesting on the Kiwi.
Morgan would like to know... Oh, hang on. Sorry. Womble Pruski, any advice on who to ram this weekend now that you're on Group A?
So
I can
jealous.
answer Morgan's
He's
question.
so-
It's in Skyline R31. And it was a wagon, and it was red, and it had a little bit of rust in it, but it was mad.
Did it have a Richard sticker on the rear quarter?
No, but it got all the tricks.
So, all right, we'll open it up. What is everyone's favourite car they have owned in real life and why? Pruski, I reckon I already know.
Well, I've owned nearly 60 odd cars now. It's
Wow.
But you want to know Sean, you're going to laugh at this. You know the answer is going to be the E30, of course.
Yeah.
But do you know that is the car that I've done the least amount of meters in? And I'm talking meters.
Not even-
I'm not
not
even
even
talking a kilometre. That car I've got,
kilometres.
that car that I've got, I've lucky to have done 15 metres in it.
I know, Womble. I'm with you, mate. Yeah, the X5.
We're after 9. It's all good, I think.
Well, I don't really have owned many cars because I'm not really a driver. I was a motorbike rider, but I have to say, probably the Mark II Escort back when I was 18.
Well,
Used to take a rally in Morwell and things like that, and rolled it a couple of times because that's what you did back then.
hey, just quietly.
But did you die? But did you die?
Can we get an update on the footy boys? Because
Yep. So currently in the football, it is 26 minutes in the third quarter. It's Port Adelaide 46, Geelong
There we
32.
tipped them.
Well, I put this to the boys earlier today. I'm like, imagine it was actual power versus actual crows. I mean, no, actual cats, sorry.
Yeah, and we said get
And
off
you
that
go,
weed, bro.
cats have 9 lives, but they're bursting electricity. Who would win?
Which is a constant. Electricity is like constant. Never backs off.
I don't know. It's just simple Janwyl thoughts.
I think the favourite car that I think I've owned, and I had to sell it due to health reasons for when I did get sick. At the time, it was built. Was the AE71 or KE70 Corolla? Same thing, just a different front nose on it. I had a 4AGE 16 valve injected in it with 125 shot of nitrous. That thing and big sway bars, chopped springs. It was one of the funnest cars that I've driven on the road and on the track and blown up at the track, and it's the only car I've ever cracked a crankshaft in.
That E30, how similar is that to the 325 IS?
So what mine is. It's a 318 IS, so it's what they call the baby M3.
Uncle had a 325 IS. And
That is, if you don't have the M3, which is the $125,000 car, the 325 IS is the next benchmark. And then from that, they refer back to they almost even say that the 318 IS is a little bit more favoured than the 325, just purely due to the fact that it's still a 4-cylinder version, but it's a twin cam 1.8, but has a big tendency on cracking heads. Mine was cracked. I've ditched that motor. Well, it's there. The block on the head's there. But I've gone a 2.8 stroker out of I think it's an E46. BMW. They're kind of like the Honda era. They're a bit of Lego like. They plug and play or connect the dots with a few different BMW parts. They do eventually work. You just got to have the know-how to it.
You do know, though, the fastest car in the world.
If you are...
Does everyone know the fastest car in the
You
world?
didn't understand what Pruski was talking about, just buy Gran Turismo 7 and PlayStation 5 and you'll just understand.
So, does everyone know the fastest car in the world?
As in, but what do you mean by fastest car? Like,
Fastest production
road
car.
car?
Zero to 100.
That's Ford AU.
No, it's not.
Built in
It's a higher
2001,
car.
Coupe.
Because
car.
you'll never drive your own car as hard as you'll drive a hire car. It's simple.
Oh, that's a lie.
Exactly, Buffett 100%.
I've never driven a hire car that's had launch control before, though.
Trust me, we've made some hire cars very, very, very fast.
I had a nice little hire car in Japan last year. A 240Z.
Man. I'll never forget my first and only trip ever to Japan. They've got all those old Toyotas that they use as their taxis and shit. And we touched down in Osaka at about 1 a.m, and the taxi driver picks us up, and the dude was doing 210 in this old fucking Toyota Corolla, and got us to where we were going in about 30 minutes. Oh, dude, it was Morgan. Mate, I was petrified. But
He can steer though.
Fucking fair introduction to Japan. I was fucking shit scared. Anyway. So we've covered next round, boys.
Yep. So we'll just do a bit of a close up now, I reckon, because okay. Yep, cool. I was going somewhere and then I lost my train of thought. Clint says, and the car with the best brakes has a kid in the back seat and says, I'm going to be sick. So big thank you goes to our special guest this evening. So a big thank you to Andrew.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed your time.
Thanks for joining us, mate.
Big thank you to Janwyl, even though none of us are on the same wavelength with this guy.
I was kind of.
I'm on another level the whole time.
Yeah.
Hey, go.
Big thank you to Mr. Hips, of course.
Hi,
Thanks
Mum.
for joining us. Should become a regular.
Hello to
thing.
Buffer's mum, by the way.
that's we've got to make that go to the next level.
Yep. I'm not sure what that entails, but all right. Massive thank you to Claude as always.
Thanks, mate.
Be sure to join us on Sunday from 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time for round 7, Group B from the Nurburgring GP track, which should be a lot of fun. It will be myself. Myself, I'm going to say Big Guns and NASCAR. That's probably, I think I'm right in saying that. That'll be he'll be joining us, so looking forward to calling all the action there. Next Thursday, it is the last round of the Auto 1 Sector 1 Community Series, so please jump on board. If you want to drive the Community Series, it will be for the last time.
Where we will be announcing the next level competition.
So we will do a big announcement for that as well. And then next Sunday, that's it. We're heading into the final round. So that's very exciting. Looking forward to that. There may be a stream change for the final round. I might go early and jump over to Streamlabs OBS and use that for my platform. There will be some very exciting things happening with that as well. We are going to start up a couple of things which will just give you guys a little bit more interaction and also ways you can help us out here at Sector 1.
And without jumping the gun too much, we should have a first-time champion announced.
Well, we will have a first-time champion.
Yeah, you never know.
Wow, okay.
Who knows? But we should have a first-time champion.
Yeah.
The long run
We close the show out
of the 4-time finally comes to an end. And we should see a new king announced.
Yep, a new king of the ring.
Cheers,
but other than that, guys, a big thank you again to all our viewers. Hope you all enjoyed tonight. Thank you for tuning in as always. Be sure to join us on Sunday. Sorry, go ahead.
One more thing. Don't forget to like, comment,
yes.
subscribe.
Yes, hit the like button.
Stay tuned for more content.
Oh, it's just the 9th like, and somebody just became 10.
There we go.
Click it, boys. Click it.
Click it.
All right. So, thanks, guys. Be sure to tune in on 7 p.m. Australian Standard Time on Sunday for Group B Round 7. But other than that, I am Sean, aka Go, signing off for now, and you've been watching the Microsector.